Hello students, today we are going to see the writing skills of Unit 2. You may be aware of this topic already in your 10th standard, so it will be interesting also. It is going to be easy for you to take up this part. Okay, tips to write a resume, CV or a biodata. We are going to see these three today. How can we write a good resume, a good CV or a biodata? That we are going to learn. First of all, let us see what all these three terms stand for. Resume. It is going to give you a complete format of a person. It is going to give the details of a person, where he read, his academic skills as well as his professional accomplishments and his experience details. Everything will be there in the resume. And curriculum vitae. See, curriculum vitae, where again the students who are going for their higher studies or the people who are already working and if they want to go for higher studies as a part-time course or something, they use this curriculum vitae. And biodata, it is generally termed one biodata. It gives both academic and personal details of a person. But all these three things need some fine tune. So when these three things are properly being guided to write, only then you will know how to write a proper resume, CV or a biodata. To start with a resume. See, the leading companies, the person who already in work phase, if he wants some shift from one company to the another company, or the person who has completed his education, academics and just dives into the workforce for the first time, he need to write this resume very carefully, because all he has to do is the resume should help the appointment authority to give weightage to this person after reading his resume. Whether you are writing a resume, CV or a biodata, it should not run pages to pages. First thing, it should be short and crisp. The concise ideas of a person will reach the person easily. Instead of giving a number of ideas about a person, give him what is required. So in your idea, now you may come to know whether these things need to run for few pages or 1 or 2 pages is fine. So ensure that it is not lengthy. Okay, it should be short and crisp. Even we were told that even the resume or a CV, it should not even go to the second page. Complete it in one page. Now the ready-made templates are available. Use the templates. Let us see some more deep about this CV. What is that CV? See, after completing the graduation or the post-graduation, students they want to go abroad to continue their research studies. So when they draft application for that, they need to give so many other details also. What sort of details they would give? Along with their work experience, along with their academic achievements, they would give their strength, and with that they would say that, and through all these years they had worked with these people, and they had this social service natured people, or they volunteered these things. Everything will be included. So you know that to get a scholarship from foreign countries, from foreign universities, you need to give an elaborate account of or elaborate details about your academic achievements. And with that, it is not enough. You need to give reference. Why reference? See, the reference you are giving, the names of the people, names of 2 persons you need to give as reference. Why are you giving that referral to the company? Because through them they will come to know what kind of person you are, and what kind of, or how can they trust you in that job. Likewise, they will contact the reference people, and they will come to know whether you are really a trustworthy person for them. So all these verification of your credentials will be done only through the referrals. Your reference will have two eminent people's name. It may be of your school headmaster, headmistress, principal, or your own teachers, or if you know anybody, any public person, you can give their names also. So likewise, you need to complete your resume or a biodata like that. And having come to the higher secondary classes, you need to know one more thing. See, just after your higher secondary course, you will be preparing yourself for the working phase and life. See, many of you may take up, continue your higher education, and if some people, if they want to really experiment in something, they may go to that field. And unfortunately, if some students, if they are not able to continue their education, even from then on, they may take up the work and do that. So whatever it is, see, if you want to write anything, any useful, any good resume, CV or a biodata, certain tips need to be followed, or even I can say some simple rules need to be followed. What are they? For example, don't ever send your resume without a covering letter. And then the next important one is address your letter to an individual if you know the name. If you know them by the name, one most important thing is don't use gender biased salutation. What is that gender biased salutation? See, in general, people always write dear sir. Okay, it is not necessary that all the time the employer be a man. Okay, so it should be gender biased salutation. So always use dear sir / madam. Or if you want to show really your respect and you are serious about using that term respected, then it is also there, but now we are using only dear only. So dear sir or madam. So far we have been seeing that simple rules to draft a nice a CV or a resume or a biodata. So it is essential that your resume or all these things you need to send along with one covering letter, but in the covering letter you need not mention that your CV or a resume or a biodata is attached. It is understood, obviously it is understood that it is attached with that. So please don't use that cliche that please find the attached resume or CV. So along with all these details, if you send your biodata, definitely the potential employer will give a call to you. So ensure that before sending your details to the employer, there is no grammar mistake, grammar error or spelling error in your resume as well as in your covering letter. And the most important thing is, please don't use any emoji. Don't write any emoji, whether you are using any conventional, applying conventionally or through electronic medium. Please don't ever use such things, because it will show to the employer, it will show to the authorities that you are simply immature. So ensure that with all matured items you are sending your CV or a biodata or a resume to the employer. Okay students, so far we have seen how a nice resume or a CV or a biodata can be drafted. With this we conclude this particular writing part, and we are going to move on to the filling up of different applications. Okay, students, sometimes you will be given applications to fill up. For example, to open a savings bank account in a bank, in railway reservation counter for booking tickets, and to apply in institutions, different institutions, where you need to give information about yourself, address, email ID, phone number, date of birth and other details. Okay, but while filling up these applications, you need to know one thing: these applications, they will not give you enough place to write in detail. So the place given there to fill up the required details will be very short, and within the limited space you need to fill up the details asked. So it is always advised, it is always good, if you want to fill up the applications like that, take a Xerox copy of it, take a photocopy of the application, and then you start filling up the details. Okay, supposing you don't have time to photocopy the application, then what will you do? It is always easy, use a pencil to fill in the application. Okay, when all these details are filled up, then you see that everything is correct, and then if all your entries are correct, then you carry on with your application. So in any case, whatever be the application for, you fill in forms in capital letters. It is always easy for the people to read out the details, and give your full address with PIN code. Okay, PIN code is the must here, and always write legibly. You should not scribble, and don't overwrite or score out. It's not your answer sheet that you simply score out and move on to the next page. It is after all an application. It need to be handled very carefully, so no overwriting or scoring. Then give only required details. Don't forget to sign or get attestations. In some applications you need to simply sign and submit, and in some applications you need to get attestation from the officials, and then you need to submit them. And mention the date of applying. It will be always easy to locate your applications, and double check before filling up the original form in ink. So once you fill up the application with the pencil, ensure that you have filled up everything, and then if you move on to the original one, it will be easier for you to give the details, and so that you will not even make any mistakes over there. So another important thing is, wherever you apply, take a photocopy of the filled up form. It will definitely it will help us in the future. So for our future reference, you need to take a photocopy of the filled in application. And checklist documents need to be checked. See, for applying different, or for submitting the different applications, sometimes you need to attach different documents. For example, passport size photo, ID proof, address proof, your academic certificates, degree or diploma certificates. And if you are physically challenged, you need to attach a disability certificate, and income certificate, community certificate, and if you are already the recipient of any scholarships, you need to mention that. You need to mention the you need to attach the proficiency or merit certificate. And if you have any extracurricular certificates, that also to be enclosed. And along with everything, you need to attach the demand draft or a check for your payments. And the email ID for communication is very, very important. Okay, then we'll move on to the application, that is filling up the demand draft. See, even now the students or the people with higher qualifications, sometimes they may also struggle to fill up the forms like DD forms or reservation forms, and it shows that it doesn't, it really, it's not correct that they don't know to fill up the application. The thing is, these applications will be filled up by somebody, some other, and they will be utilizing these all these days. So if they find it for the first time, and really they will find it difficult to fill up the details given there. So for the students like you, you need to know these are all very, very basic and fundamental things that you should not say, and you should not go and stand near a people to fill up the details for you. Okay, given I am showing one demand draft on the screen. You just look at the screen. It is very simple. There will be the place to write the name of date there, and then next to that is the name of the applicant. You will write your own name there, and then the amount need to be filled up. Two things are necessary here while filling up the demand draft. One is the amount what you are going to take for DD. Okay, for example, if you are going to take up some 1000 rupees, mention that 1000 rupees only. Applicant, you have to mention the amount in words, write in words 1000 only, and below that there will be a table where you will mention that amount is 1000. And while filling up this, you need to know one thing: in banks there is a service charge for this. So that surcharge you need to ask from the counter, and the people will guide you how much to be given for that amount. You need to fill up that amount and mention that in the total. Ensure that you are writing that total only for that purpose, and the amount you are going to take up as the DD only should reflect in the counter file as well as on the main sheet. For example, if you are going to take up the 1000 rupees DD, meaning you need to mention 1000 only, and if the commission is 40 rupees, don't mention 1040 only. Okay, you need to mention only the DD amount. That has to be given there in words as well as in numerals, and you need to fill up the the exchange or something will be given there that need to be filled up, and whether you are giving that in cash or by check, those details have to be filled up. If it is cash, then you need to fill up the denominations, and if you are giving the check, means you need to give the check details like number of the check number and date, and also the name of the bank also you need to give. See, one thing you should know, boys, you all might be knowing this, instead I am just reminding you of this. See, if you have a bank account in one bank and you are going to take up the DD in some other bank, no problem, you can always go and take. Okay, it is not necessary that you should go and take the DD in the same bank, same branch. This is all very silly maybe, but you should know this. See, even if you are not even if you are not having any account in the bank, even though you don't have a bank account in that bank, you can always go and take a demand draft. Okay, there you can use the check, your own check, or if you don't have a check, you can use cash also. Fill up the details, and there in favor of. Now you filled up the details in the counter file, that you will get it from the bank after paying that money and after you receive that DD. See, the other part is the main part where you need to fill up important things. What is that? You need to mention date, it is there, and then to whom the DD has to be addressed. For example, if you are applying for one university, for example, to the registrar Madurai Kamaraj University, to the registrar University of Madras, to the registrar Annamalai University, like that, to whom you need to address, that DD has to be given, that address has to be written there. Don't write your own name there, because you have given your name as applicant on the counterfile side. Here we are giving the details of the DD content. We are favoring the DD to somebody, no? We are going to give the details about that designated person in this place, or even to the individual. And here also you need to mention in words as well as in numerals, and you will write your name as well as your signature. And if the amount exceeds 50,000, you need to produce your PAN card and all, that you always know the bank officials will guide you on that. See, in the same way, wherever you go, whether you go to the post office to open the savings account in the savings bank account in the post office, or wherever you go, all these details need to be given correctly. Okay, while you are opening up the account for the first time, you will not be mentioning your account name, you will be mentioning your name only, applicant's name. All those account details, account number will be given by whom? That will be given by the office people, office use only. You cannot assign yourself one account number. Okay students, you cannot assign the account number on your own. It will be given by the bank officials or the post office people, all the people who is there to do this work. So ensure that. So for example, there is another application on your textbook, that is post office savings bank application is there. There you need to fill up again name of the application, applicant, and also guardian name must be there. Why guardian name? If the applicant is below 18 years, he has not completed his 18 years, it is always advisable to give one guardian's name. And you also, there will be a provision that if you are an adult and if you completed your 18 years and if you want to open up the account individually, then there will be a column where you need to give the nominee also. So whatever information asked in that place need to be filled up. These nominee details are very, very important. So residential address you need to give, and you will be surprising to note that there will be 2 or 3 columns in these applications, both in bank as well as in these post office applications. What are these for? Because in those applications you can see first applicant, second applicant and third applicant. See, if you are opening an opening one account and 3 of you or 2 of you want to operate, means you can give both of your details. Okay, I repeat, if both of you want to open up an account and if you want to maintain one single account, both of you can together open an account where you need to give first applicant's details in that column and respectively in the respectively in the second applicant's column. Give all those details, all are very, very easy to fill up. And here also, wherever you write, PIN code is very much important. Give proper PIN code, also give proper mobile number, and it is always advisable that if you give your phone number, ensure that you are having that phone number, because on and off if you go on change your phone number, it can't be go and altered again and again, changed again and again in the bank or the post office. At least for your personal use you need to have one single number, phone number. It may look silly, it may sound silly for you if I say like this, but you will be come to know in future that many people are having so many numbers, and if you call them one after the other in all the numbers, you can't you can't reach that person. So it is always essential that you will be contacted in one mobile number. And the applicant's date of birth is really very important. And nowadays PAN number is also very essential to open up the savings account. So what I want to say here is, if you want to open up an account, always take all these documents with you. So whatever documents they want, you can simply produce and open up the account. If you go to the if you go to different places like bank or post office or railway station without any document, if you are asked to show up the document, if you don't have any proof with you, then definitely you can't complete the work on that day. You need to come back all the way from that place, and you have to go and redo the work. So it is always advisable that you take up the relevant documents with you wherever you go. And similarly, very important thing is reservation and cancellation of seats in the railway counters. That also you need to know, because all these things practically, students, all these applications are given to you. Why? Because see, after all, we are preparing ourselves for our life, not for these 11th and 12th standard board exams alone. So more than examination, we need to know so many things to lead our life. So all these are really, really important. So pay attention to these things, and you have applications in your textbook itself. You take up the application and you yourself fill up the details, so that when you go and do it in real time, definitely it will be easier for you to complete the task. So with that, the applications is over. Okay students, so far we have seen how a good CV or a resume or a biodata can be written. Followed by that, we have seen how to fill up the challan for DD. So all these applications we have seen so far. So I hope that definitely these information will help you to do these tasks in your real time. On page number 47 and 48, there are applications on your textbook. Ensure that after watching this video, you go sit up in one place and you just read out the application first and see the details, various details asked on the application, and then fill up the application in your textbook itself. It is the task today. Homework today is on page number 47 and 48. There are applications. Those applications need to be filled up by you. With this, I conclude today's session. Thank you, students.